Consistency comes achievement. Could you believe it? Well, I believe it. I believe it.
Coming up on Real Talk.
Yes.
Even a 4-year-old.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how old he is.
Mm-hmm. And then don't let it work. So if he has screamed and you gave into that screaming, or you tried to pacify him, or do you want an ice cream? You want a soda? Did you want to eat the candy? Well, grandma gonna get you some candy. You know, when we start playing into stuff like that, that's fueling the fire. It's giving him, oh, this works.
Okay.
I see that this temper tantrum and this yelling, if I do that long enough, I'm gonna get everything that I want.
Yeah.
If all your method of punishment was spankings, then that's all you know how to do. Well, some kids get beat proof. You know, the whooping don't work. When you whoop them the second time for the same incident, it's not working anymore. You have to find something creative and something new to do differently that's going to impact that child.
With consistency comes achievement. Could you believe it? Well, I believe it. I believe it.
Bedrock Records and Film presents. They're back, a 2013 perspective about gin. Reverts. Crossed. Now playing on Comcast Channel 93 and AT&T UFirst Channel 99.
With consistency comes achievement. Could you believe it? Well, I believe it. I believe it.
Welcome to our show, Real Talk. I'm Amina, your host. The views expressed here are ours. Take what you like and leave the rest. With me today is Miss Owita Dotsie. She's a parenting teacher and a mother of 4. Welcome. Ms. Owita, what made you want to go into this field, parenting field?
Maybe about almost 17 years ago, I met and fell in love with a man, of course. And he had 4 children. And so we were married and we ended up raising 2 of his sons. And I had no parenting skills. I was the youngest of 4.
Okay.
And so I didn't know anything about parenting. So I just from that relationship had a desire to work with families and know more about families and raising children.
That's great. That's really great. Because when you don't did you have any children?
No, I did not have any children.
Wow.
Yes, and I was very career focused.
Okay, yeah, you really did need a Oh, well, that's great. What are some of the challenges that some of your struggles that you've gone through with this, in this field?
Personal or?
No, just either or.
I think one of the things, the families that I work with now usually have some type of mental illness or drug addiction. Some of them are just regular families who just want greater support. And one of the biggest challenges is education, because so many of us were raised in the way our parents raised us, right or wrong, is how we raise our children. And so it's some of the challenges is really addressing some of the negative things that we bring to raising our children, some of the negative patterns of behavior that we have as parents that aren't beneficial. We're moving into a time now, this is another struggle, where kids are having diagnosed with mental illness, behavior problems, and parents just aren't equipped to deal with those.
Exactly. They're not. They're really not. And are you referring them out, or are you, in your teaching, you're trying to show them how to deal with this type of behavior?
We do, the parenting teaching that I do is a nurturing parenting program. And it's designed for children from 2 to 12. And so we deal with things like structure, discipline, the difference between discipline, punishment, and rewards, because most people, when they talk about punishment, they use the word discipline, and punishment and discipline are two different things. Discipline is teaching, and punishment is what you use to change negative behavior. And so that's one thing that we really focus on with our families is what does a disciplined, safe home environment look like? Because a lot of these parents don't know, you know, and so we talk about that. We do give out resources. I work for Comprehensive Youth Services, and the program that I work under, we do offer free counseling to families, and our parenting program is free. Just if you come to my class, which is located in West Fresno. So, yeah, we do make sure that the parents that I meet with, have the information and resources that they need when they leave the door.
Yeah, you mentioned they're not equipped to deal with the behaviors that they run into, with dealing with the mental illness and the behavior at all, learning how to raise kids, because nobody gave them no book and don't nobody know nothing.
Right.
So what exactly do you mean when you say that?
That they don't know how to deal with the mental illnesses or the behavior
The
problems?
behavior, period, you know?
Right. One thing, when you have a child with a behavior problem, as parents, we're either overwhelmed or we're going to respond based on the child's behavior. So we're not being proactive, we're being reactive. So if they do something crazy, what do? We want to get crazy with them. How many times have we heard, if you go in this store and show out, I'm going to show out with you. And so we kind of take that mentality into raising our children, and we have to be the stable force. We have to be the agent of change to say, regardless of what's going on with this child and this outrageous behavior, or this behavior I don't approve of, I'm not going to get sucked into responding and reacting to this child's behavior. So that's hard to do sometimes.
Now, that's a good one. Now that's going to lead me into my thing. What it is. My grandson was in the car with me, and one of the kids found some candy on the floor. I told him to throw the candy out the window. Girl, this boy went to hollering and screaming, and you talking about trying to take control in a situation like that. He hollered and he screamed. I was getting ready to go pay my rent. I politely did not get out the car. I was headed home, and I'm driving down the road, and this boy steady hollering. And my old me would have said, go on, cry till your eyeballs fall out. But I refused to even say that. What I did was, I was checking my reactions. I did not want to react. I realized that it was my thinking that had me wanting to do what I wanted to do. I was driving down the road looking at me, this boy, he just hollering and screaming. I did not say, close your mouth. I did not do none of that. I just went on. And then, girl, after a while, the boy got quiet. I wanted to choke him. But that's like, now I want to punish you for sending me through what I done went through. But I did not react. But I don't know how many people would be able to have done that.
Oh, no, yeah. Most people would have wanted to jack him up, say some choice words, and everything else that go along with that, and the situation would have just exploded. And so what we talk about is our strategies in the class and dealing with it. And when I was listening to you, one of the strategies that we talk about is ignoring, and how you don't ignore the child, but you have to ignore the behavior, because we get into power play sometimes as parents with kids, and it's about who's gonna be in control. And kids are smart and they're manipulative, but we don't have to buy into their behavior because they do stuff to get a response.
All the time.
Yes.
Even a 4-year-old.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how old he is.
Mm-hmm. And then don't let it work. So if he has screamed and you gave into that screaming, or you tried to pacify him, or do you want an ice cream? You want a soda? Did you want to eat the candy? Well, grandma gonna get you some candy. You know, when we start playing into stuff like that, that's fueling the fire. It's giving him, oh, this works.
Okay.
I see that this temper tantrum and this yelling, if I do that long enough, I'm gonna get everything that I want.
Yeah. Now that's really something.
Mm-hmm.
I would have taught him to do that,
Mm-hmm.
not even knowing it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I done taught you how to work me.
Right, exactly. And some of them can work you well. So one of the things you said, pay attention to you. Make sure that you're in a good place. Because one of the things I tell my parents, if you're not healthy, you're not going to produce healthy children. If you're not taking care of yourself, then you're not going to take care of your children. So we have to practice self-care. That's a part of our program. Nurturing yourself. How are you taking care of yourself? What are some things you're doing to eliminate some stress so you won't just be responding to what this child is doing? Because for the most part, all the kids want is attention.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they want, is to spend some time, have some, some good quality time with their parents. But we so crazy, we doing this and we working and we trying to make this happen, and we don't take the time out to just slow down and see really what's going on with our kids and what's going on with ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we have to do that. That's important.
Really is. It really is important. And to nurture now, how do you go about nurturing? How can you do something? You mentioned nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
If you never was nurtured yourself,
Right.
how can you nurture how do you go about learning how to do this, and what is it anyway?
Well, nurturing is nurturing is the ability to give to yourself, or to caring. When you think about nurturing a baby or even a plant, I use this analogy. You water your plant, you sing to your plant, you make sure your plant is getting enough sunlight, and we even do fertilizer, those of us who do planting. And we take all this time to take care of that plant, and so it can grow and bloom, and we have to do the same thing to ourselves and to our children. So you ask, how do we do that? Number one, you have to figure out what it is that you like, what it is that you enjoy doing, what makes you happy, that's safe, that's healthy, that's legal, because some people say, well, I like partying, okay, I like to drink. No, well, that's not the most healthiest thing to do. You need to maybe read or take a walk or try to do something that you've never done before. And so one of the, like I said, the families that I work with, some of them have never had anybody nurture them. They've never nurtured themselves. So I sometimes say, well, when is the last time you just went and got your favorite flavor of ice cream? When is the last time you watched your favorite show on television or your favorite movie? Some just small things, went and just sat down and watched the sun come up or the sun come down. Things that all it takes is time, but you're doing something that you like to do. And often it's not about money. It's not about, oh, well, I would like to go, take a trip to New York. Everybody don't have funds to do that. But maybe you just like to sit down and have you a quiet time, a nice cup of tea, a nice, iced tea, coffee, whatever. Just take small times to just replenish yourself, So to that, just expand your mind. I think sometimes when you deal with the clients I work with, many of them have, financial issues or access. They don't have the access to transportation. But you have to find things in your own area that you can just enjoy. Just enjoy and deposit back into you.
And as far as the kids go, how do you nurture them?
The same thing. One of the things that a lot of parents struggle with, what do your children like to do? Did you ask them? Besides, are you telling them? And we tend to take as a punishment, as soon as a child get in trouble, we take something away that they like to do.
Yes.
How's that helping? You know, how if here's this one thing, say you got a kid that likes to play baseball, you know, and so he start getting in trouble in school and he start acting out. And the first thing we want to do is take the baseball from him. Don't take the baseball from him, because that's where he gets to build his self-esteem. Make that healthy for him, because this is something that he enjoys doing. Make him wash some dishes. Make him clean the backyard. Make him go volunteer at a nursing home if he's old enough to do that. It's other ways that you can punish your children, because it is a punishment, because you're taking something away from them or you're making them do something that they don't want to do to change the behavior. Punishment is never about who's the baddest. You know, I'm the baddest in this house. I run all of this. That's not the mentality of punishment. Punishment is designed to change a behavior that a child has that you don't want them to do. Change a negative behavior. So sometimes that may require you expanding their minds and putting them in a situation where, using a rest home as an example, these people at the end of their life, they're sick, everybody gonna get here one day. It's making your child see something outside of the norm to build compassion, to build empathy. And when children start building empathy and compassion, then their attitudes will change about things. So we have to be creative as parents, you know? We can't just, if somebody if all your method of punishment was spankings, then that's all you know how to do. Well, some kids get beat proof. You know, the whooping don't work. When you whoop them the second time for the same incident, it's not working anymore. You have to find something creative and something new to do differently that's going to impact that child. How can I do something to make this child pay attention to their behavior being wrong? Maybe he don't get to wear them favorite pair of tennis shoes anymore. Maybe the tennis shoes have to go up in the closet. Maybe that iPod have to go. Maybe you don't get to go to some social events. Or even when you think about school age, which is the younger child, you know, maybe you don't get to watch your favorite show on the Disney Channel this week. You know, you don't always have to beat your kids or hit and knock and cuss them out. You know, these parents, they cussing kids out, and then when the kids go to school, they just so busy hearing all that negative language. Well, the teacher not gonna talk to them like that. They don't even know how to respond to somebody being nice, because you've been cussing them out for the last 7 or 8 years.
Girl, that's so sad.
It's tragic.
It's tragic. It really is tragic. Wow. Okay. Now, we were talking about punishment, and you're talking about discipline. You explained punishment. Punishment was to change a behavior. Now, what is discipline?
Discipline is teaching. You take your time, taking time out to teach. This example came up in one of my parenting classes, and I was just amazed. One parent there, she had a 4-year-old son, and she would say she wanted her son to clean up the room, clean up the room, clean up the room. She escalating. Every 30 minutes she go in there, he haven't did anything. So one of the parents said, well, you have to tell him what to do, and maybe you should start off with get all the toys up first. So it's the parent taking time out. I'ma teach you how I want you to act. I'ma teach you how to do. I'ma take the time out. I'ma get off the couch. I'ma hang off the cell phone, get off Facebook, and I'ma teach you how to make up your bed. You know, I'ma teach you how to make sure when you finish eating that bowl of cereal that you take your bowl to the kitchen sink and leave it there. It's when you have, my mother taught us, when you have kids, your whole life changes. It's not about you anymore, it's about your children. But we have parents now who it's not about the kids, it's about them. And the kid represents something else, you know. And if that's your issue, then you got to deal with that too, you know, because that's something else going on.
Girl, yeah, we have kids having kids, so they don't know how to deal with kids because they ain't nothing but a kid themselves.
Right.
So they don't know how to do that.
They don't know. They don't know.
Yeah. This is really something, this has been very enlightening for me as far as it goes with the discipline and the words, the play on the word, the punishment and the discipline. I didn't realize that punishment was, I forgot what you said.
How to change the negative behavior.
Yeah,
what
to
you do change the negative behavior.
Yeah. Well, you know, like a lot of times as a punishment, you actually abandon that child. You call yourself punishing, but then you take in, how can I say this? You don't talk to me. So now you punishing me. And to me, that's not fair.
It's not healthy.
It's not healthy at all. It sheds, to me, it would shut the child down because it shut me down.
Yes, yes. And let me say this too, Miss Amina. We culturally tend to focus on punishment. We focus on punishment. You do something, you're going to get punished. But one of the other things we teach is rewards and rewarding positive behavior. And you heard the saying, you catch more flies with honey. So if your child is doing something that's positive, then you focus on the positive. Because what you focus on, that's what's going to develop. If all you see is negative, negative, negative in your child, and every time you know the phone, you get nervous when the phone rings because you know it's the school, then you have to kind of change and say, okay, if none of this is working, I'm just going to go focus on the rewards. Everything this child do good for the next week, I'm going to point it out. I'm going to make light of it. I'm going to tell everybody, Johnny made his bed up this morning. I didn't even have to ask Johnny. Johnny, thank you so much. And then reaffirm what we talk about, praise as a reward, and the praise for being and the praise for doing. And you have to tell your children, I'm so grateful that you're my son. You know, God really blessed me to have a daughter like you. That don't have anything to do with what they behavior. They could have just went to school and turned over all the tables the week before. But what you're doing is you're reaffirming them. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're a part of my family. You have made me a better person as being your parent. When you start telling children things like that, they're gonna feel good about themselves. And when people feel good about themselves, they act better, old or young.
Yes.
So we have to change that negative in the punishment. Let's don't focus. I'm not saying don't punish your children, but don't let that be the #1 focus of how bad he is or how bad she is. How nice are they? How helpful are they? How compassionate? Look at the good qualities in your child and magnify those, and it'll go a long way. It will. I'm sure of it.
I'm sure it will too. I'm sure it will too. Another thing you had mentioned, I want to discuss was nurturing, making kids feel warm inside. Now, that's part of the nurturing, and that feeling warm inside. If you're feeling warm inside and you feel good inside, then you will act differently. And I think a lot of times the kids, the girls, how they get pimped out or whatever you want to call it, the pimp make them feel good inside because they didn't feel good inside wherever they was at or whatever was done.
Right.
Could you wanna speak on that?
Yeah, I think really, and since you brought up that the pimp, really, as speaking from a woman's perspective who had been a girl, the role of men and the positive things that men can do with their daughters or their nieces, and complimenting them and tell them that they're smart and telling them that they're beautiful. This is important because, like you said, as soon as that pimp come along and show them some attention, and most of our children are just attention starved. They just have not. Nobody has taken the time out to teach them anything. You know, it used to be a time you brought your kids in the kitchen, you taught them how to cook, you taught them how to clean. You did it hand to hand. Grandma right there, mom right there. Those times are gone. So as soon as this little knucklehead come and spend 2 seconds with them and tell them they cute and, oh, you so cute and you this and you that, and then there we go. We lost the influence. We don't have it anymore. So for the time that we have it, let's pour into our children all the good stuff. Not you dumb, you stupid, you nasty. You know, not that kind of stuff, but the good stuff. You know, teach them to value their bodies and, you know, wear clothes. You don't have to show everything. But if mama's showing everything, you know, what is a kid gonna do? You let them watch everything on TV. You know, people tease me because I say I don't have cable. I'm sorry, I don't have cable. We don't watch too much TV in my house because I don't want those exposures. And when they are introduced to those exposures, then I want to be the one to introduce it so we could talk about it. This is what's going on in the world. You know, why you got these little kids listening to all this rap video, all this profanity, all that stuff getting inside of them, and then you wonder why and I'm not against rap, but at a young age, some of that is just not appropriate for children. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not speaking against hip hop or anything like that, but it is a place of maturity that you need to have, that you need to be at to listen to some of that stuff and then talk about it. What is this? What do these lyrics mean that you just exposing your kids to, and then wonder why they so grown? Because you're doing everything in front of them. You're talking about everything in front of them. It used to be a time, and I don't got on the road, but it used to be a time when the kids left the room when the adults was talking. Now the kids sitting up in the conversation with them, they finishing the story.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, times has really changed. They really have changed. You know, this has been really enlightening. This has really been enlightening. We did a show on a letter. You remember that letter that Hakeem had to do about the teddy bear? Yes.
Yes.
We did a show on that last. We did a show on that, in the letter to, that letter was just so, it brought tears to my eyes. You know, just to spill some milk and just to get cussed out. Now, what did that letter, what did it really represent? What was the message that you, when you had them do that, that letter, read that letter, or had them do that exercise, what was the intent behind that?
To see it from a child's perspective. Because so many times when we, like I talked about earlier, when we frustrated and we stressed out and we have situations going on with us, we don't pay attention to what's going on with our kids. And so we're just frustrated and we're operating and responding out of our own frustration. And we're not looking at how is this affecting my child? When I use this kind of language, when I call them out of their names, or, you know, what is going on in my heart, in the heart of my child? And so that poem or letter was written so you could see where your child is coming from.
And that was really something he said, that I told her I was sorry, but I guess she didn't hear me.
Yes.
Because she just called me all kinds of names. My words, you know, trying to remember how it went. You know. And it was so sad. And then he said that, Teddy, I know you love me. Maybe you can talk to my mama, and I won't have to be talking to you.
See, now that poem just spoke on so many different levels. The fact that here's this child who's hurting, and the only person they can confide in is a toy.
Yeah.
You know, because nobody's listening.
Nobody.
So the child found the one thing that they could talk to, or that they
the teddy bear. You know, it has been really nice, and we're going to go ahead and close out right now. You guys, we did a show on the teddy bear and the letter, and hopefully, when you see the show and listen to what we just said today, that you will pay a little bit more attention to what you're saying and what you're doing to your children. So when you know better, baby, you do better. See ya.
So if you're interested in taking parenting anger management, or co-parenting. I do provide those classes free of services. I'm located at, free of charges rather. I'm located at 243 Fresno Street. We are 2 doors down from Bambi's Daycare, and my number is 445-0258. All classes are good for Fresno Superior Court, probation. It stands up in any court. So if you're interested in taking those classes, I'm the only place that's doing those classes right now free of charge. So please give me a call to get more information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With consistency comes achievement.